Hello once again. If you have joined us just now, I would like to remind that my name is Ksenia Tabakova, and originally I'm from Russia, where I graduated from St. Petersburg State University, Faculty of Geography, and currently I'm doing PhD studies at University of Helsinki. This this workshop today focuses quite a lot on transferable skills in doctoral education, and as a student from the university where learning transferable skills is required to complete PhD, I hope I can be of service. Due to the fact that we changed the format of this workshop, I shortened my presentation quite a lot, so I will go through the more basic and general information and will not be able to go much into the detail, but please reach out to me if you would like to know more, and I will gladly share my more detailed experience in taking transferable skills courses. When you look up online what the transferable skills are, most of the sources give some sort of classification. And commonly transferable skills include communication, teamwork, leadership, management, technology literacy, and problem solving. There are, of course, other categories, but I think that these 6 are the most relevant to the research life. For example, communication. You need to communicate your science for it to have an impact on the world. So we are talking about paper, report, or presentation, maybe interview. And communication can also be interpersonal. If you can express yourself well to your collaborators, your work and the whole team will benefit. Then researchers and students seldom work in isolation, and we often need to complete projects in groups. So their listening and empathy help you to reach mutual understanding and prevent conflict situations. In a group, you might be also in charge, and you don't want just to boss around, so you would want to be a leader. And for this, you need certain skills. And management is related to all of this. You can learn how to organize and plan any type of project. There is the whole management science available for you. You can learn how to plan for, predict, and solve problems. And last but not least, technology literacy. Considering the fast pace of technology advancement, it is very important to keep an eye on the new methods and be familiar with the best practices at work. And all of these skills are available not only in academia. If after your studies you decide to change the path, these are your strong points, because being a good co-worker is more than just being a specialist. So you need, these extra skills. This morning, me and my colleagues had already mentioned what kind of transferable skills courses we have at the University of Helsinki and in my doctoral school. So for those who haven't been here, I would just briefly mention that we have courses directly related to the research work and courses related to the social skills. And additionally, everyone must take research ethics with 1 credit minimum. So altogether it has to be 10 credits, and since most of the courses are 2 credits, so you take 4 to 5 courses overall to fulfill the criteria. Courses, no doubt, differ in structure and even format, but few things can be expected to happen at any of them. First of all, these courses you take together with people coming from different backgrounds, which offers you unique exposure to the science in other fields. Like in my case, people from one doctoral school that consists of 6 or 7 different doctoral programs, we all kind of have similar enough background to understand each other, but we are also far enough to learn a lot of new things and network with people from adjacent fields. And to me, it was always one of the best experiences from taking these courses. Together, you engage in a group work during classes and also outside of them. You might work in pairs or you work in bigger groups. And this alone adds towards gaining such skills as teamwork, leadership, dependability, and of course, communication, as well as multiculturalism, regardless of the actual subject of the course. So this happens at all courses. And such practice mimics work's experience and therefore prepares you being towards a better professional. At the course, you can expect to learn the theoretical part of the subject. Oftentimes in our work, we first gain some empirical knowledge because we learn from doing. For example, we give scientific presentations and write scientific texts often even before we start PhD studies. However, our knowledge is often incomplete, and therefore theoretical part of the transferable skills courses is available too to systematize what we already know and fill the gaps in our knowledge. And we also gain new insights into the studied subject. Along with the theoretical part, you can expect a lot of practice. You will be asked to do various exercises and apply theory as soon as you learn something. And at the end of the course, you're usually working on a big project at home, practice the all new material as one. During practice in the classes, you have a chance to receive a tailored feedback from the teacher and other students. And this feedback is tailored to you. Since students of various backgrounds are attending, you can get a sense how your performance is perceived by a larger, more diverse audience. And since it's just a class, you don't really need to worry. This is not like a real conference or nothing like this. You know, this is the time to make mistakes, practice, and improve. Receiving feedback, of course, can be challenging. We at University of Helsinki are encouraged to exit our comfort zone because true growth comes when you're challenged. Plus, it is very easy to stick with the ways we do our work and think that this is just good enough. The way I do my things, that's it. But there's always a place to improve our work practices. And what we learn in the classes will impact not only us, but through us, the whole work community, as we become better and more knowledgeable scientists. And then finally, at whatever course you take, communication skills, especially science communication, will benefit, right? So particularly good chance to learn how to speak in a more understandable language, because for us as a scientist, it's so easy to stick with a familiar lingo and forget that not everybody understands this. I personally think that science communication becomes one of the most valued skills, so I would like to focus a little bit more on that particular skill. I believe that as a scientist that work on a public money for the sake of the public, it is our civil responsibility to communicate results of our research to the society. And there are a plethora of reasons to do so. First of all, science looks overcomplicated to an untrained person. And as a result, people feel detached from science, they lose interest, they question the existence of fundamental research, and sometimes they even laugh at it. And of course, the way media often portrays science doesn't help either. Only most flashy results appear in the headlines, essence of the research might be misrepresented, and frequently very important parts of the research, for example, its limitations, are omitted completely. As a result, incomplete or even wrong knowledge is presented to the society, and myths being born and persist. And we, as a carriers of knowledge, we must push back. There are simply no better people to do it. We, as experts, have a comprehensive understanding on the problem in question, and we can declutter public debate, even though it is not an easy task. And also, if we don't go talk to people, people won't necessarily come talk to us. So communication makes science more inclusive and gain support from society. And once we have a support from society, decision makers will receive extra pressure to act based upon the best available knowledge. And of course, every audience has its own needs. If you don't work with decision makers, that's fine, not everybody does. Then try to talk to your friends or even with families and use appropriate social media channels to reach your target audience. Every small thing you do would be important. On a personal level, communication skills will make you a better researcher and will boost your career. For example, in the conferences, you have this very short time slot to tell the community about your results, 10-15 minutes. However, the attention span of the audience is even shorter. So I think that the traditional ways of presentation are often ineffective. And just because scientific methods are standardized doesn't mean we can get creative when we are presenting our research. So this is where the science communication education is going to help you. If you have a reputation of a good speaker, you definitely can be invited more as a guest lecturer, asked to give interviews or comments for the news. And this goes directly to your CV. A new potential employer can Google your name and see that you are visible. This is a very, very serious advantage to you as an employee. And the easiest way to achieve the visibility is, of course, through social networks. Twitter nowadays is considered the place to share your expertise. In the University of Helsinki and in our institute, we are encouraged to be active on social media. And I can see that since we started to put more effort into it, the communication skills significantly improved. Now, as a Russian person who receives a doctoral education in Finland, I have observed some things I would like to share with you. Excuse me. So these are kind of very, very personal observations, of course, just, very subjective. Society in Russia doesn't have as good access to the new technology and science due to the economic situation as in generally Western countries. So we're thinking of medicine or engineering or industry advancement. And because population struggles more to meet ends, they are less concerned with the science and technology, and they don't understand why the money would be spent for fundamental research, like, I don't know, nuclear physics and stuff like that. And they tend to exhibit more skeptical attitudes. And this is, I think, is a really, really big problem. And this leaves space for the conspiracy theories blooming and similar phenomena. This poses extra challenge and also extra need to communicate research even more. Of course, in Finland, it's not perfect either. There are, plenty of all sorts of people here. However, I could see that the population generally is more interested in science because they have good access to it. Then I think that overall Russian research just simply deserves as good communication as possible. At least in my field, I can be for sure that we are very, very interested in what Russia does in terms of climate and atmosphere sciences. And I think that properly trained PhD student can boost this accessibility of Russian science pretty fast. And then one last point here would be that traditionally, apologies, traditionally there's kind of like well-defined hierarchical structure in universities and institutes in Russia. The higher the rank of the person is, the more kind of unwritten behavioral rules apply in communication. And in Finland, there are no such things existent. There are no artificial boundaries between people because expertise is valued and respected regardless of your position. Professors seek help from PhD students, and PhD students seek guidance from professors. So communication is very informal and open, as open as possible. And this is the core of a working culture, because communication is how we relate to each other. So if you want your ideas to be heard as soon as possible, if you want to fully utilize the talent you have in your team, you need to kind of break down these artificial walls. So for this, good teamwork and simple rules are necessary. And this is, I think, that where transferable skills is an excellent tool to achieve more unified understanding what the working culture has to be. And as the world turns more and more towards internationalization, and institutes and universities collaborate with colleagues from abroad, learning the same working culture can also add towards effective international work and benefit science and technology fields on all scales. So my final message is that I truly believe that transferable skills education can help you to train yourself to be a better student, better scientist, a better current or future leader, and better person in general. Thank you very much.